Hey guys, this is Saxon Southern Custom Woodwork, and I'm going to be doing a quick video tutorial on how to create a simple face groove for cabinet face. I've got tons of cabinets, or cabinet faces I should say, delivered by another fellow woodworker, and he wants me to use the CNC to mill out this process. So I'm going to show you how to do a quick setup on these things without having to go and try to look for a file on Etsy and spending money on Etsy when you can do it yourself if you just put your mind to it. So here's the process I've come up with. I've got all different size cabinets or cabinet faces, and I've come up with a relatively quick process, so I want to show you my process. And it's just a simple groove throughout the cabinet face. I'll show you here in a second. But anyways, without further ado, I'm using Vectric software, VCarve Pro, and once you open the software, you want to create a new file. Now I already have the new file created, but I already have the job dimensions and the job dimensions set up, and I want to show you what I got. So I'm working with a 10 by 6, and they're all 3/4 inch, and they're all 6 inches in height, but this particular one is 10 inches in width. And for design purposes, I have my XY datum position set in the center. And alright, we'll go ahead and move on. I'll click OK. And what we do from here is we'll create a box. The size, as you see, I already have it set up with the size of the material, and I'll hit create. Or you could hit, or just left click in the center of your material here and close. I'm gonna zoom out real quick just to delete. Oh, I didn't put it up there. Okay, good. Let me make sure that I don't have two boxes created. I'm going to delete this one. And what I'll do here is I'll just hit Control F, and that will fit my resolution back to the size of the screen. And maybe it didn't register that first click, so that's a good thing. So we'll go back in, create the box. It's already set 10 by 6. I'm going to click in the center here, because sometimes if you just hit that create button, it will put it off to the right somewhere. And as you saw earlier, you'll kind of have to zoom out and kind of get it back to the center of your material. So I'm going to close, and with it highlighted, you could actually hit just the F9 key and it will center it to the material. However, because my computer is set up for shortcut purposes, it'll stop recording if I hit F9. So what I'm going to do is go down to Align Objects and center selected objects horizontally and vertically in material. So I'm going to hit that, and now I know that it's centered. Next, what I will do is I'm going to cut or draw a polyline in the top right corner of this material. That way, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go ahead and delete that and delete this. I do apologize. Let me go back, and with the box selected at the size of the material, I need to offset. The reason you'll see me offsetting this box 1.25 inches inward is because the customer wants it to match a replica drawer face that he gave me, and that's about the measurement in on the groove from the edge of the material. So what I'll do is I'm going to select delete original, because we really don't need this box. I just needed it to reference for the offset. So I'm going to go ahead and click offset, and that'll give us that line here, or this box here in the center of the material. And as you see, it deleted that one, so that's good. Now what I'll do is I will get the polyline here, and I will go ahead and draw a polyline in the upper right hand quadrant of this square. That way we can cut it off in half. And to right click, it'll get rid of your polyline there. And now you have this 90-degree polyline in the upper right hand corner of this box. And now what I will do is create a circle. I've already got it set at the diameter that I've been using. Again, I would just left click here in the center and go ahead and close. Now with that in the center, just to verify that it's in the center, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to hit the align objects to the center again, just to verify. I'm that kind of person where I have to verify. Now I'm going to double click, and that will bring up the center of the circle here. And this is kind of what I've been doing just to keep it consistent. I'm going to hit my shift key and my arrow right key until I get it close to the edge here. And then I'm going to hold down the control key and start hitting the arrow right button until I can get the right side of that middle box lined up just like that with the edge of that square. Now I'm going to hit the shift key and up the arrow up key until I can get it close. That's a little bit too far, we're going to go back. Now I'm going to hold the control key and I'm going to get that center of the top of that box aligned with the bigger box there, like that. And that's what it should look like. Now with that done, I can I don't have to, I can deselect all my drawings there, and I'm going to go to my snippet tool. My interactive trim is what it's called. I'm going to select it, and I have it checked, rejoin trimmed sections automatically when form is closed. And what I'll do here is I'll get rid of this by left clicking, and then I'm going to left click right here, and it gives you that nice pretty arc there, and it joins itself once you trim it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the, I'm going to get rid of this, the rest of this line here, which is why I drew a polyline here. So I can delete the rest, and now I have this upper right hand corner of the pretty much the mold that I want. So instead of trying to mimic what I just did in all four corners manually, now what I'm going to do is take this and mirror the objects so I know they're completely identical in all four corners. So I'm going to go to my transform objects section and click mirror selected objects. Now I already have it set to how I want it to be, so all I got to do is hit bottom, and I've got flip about job center checked. That's what you want to make sure you have checked here, and create a mirrored copy. So I'm going to click bottom, and it's going to select the bottom one, where now I will click left, and it's going to select the bottom left, and then I will click top, where it now selects the upper left hand corner. And now I know that all these shapes are exactly the same, exactly how I did this one right here. So I'm going to close that icon there. I'm going to hold my shift key down, and I'm going to select the bottom one right here. And the reason why I'm doing this is to overlap the lines I have here, to overlap all of these lines right here. That way I can bring that snippet tool back and trim it all out. So what I'll do is hit control and arrow over once, and you'll see it move just ever so slightly. I'm going to hold the shift key down and select the bottom right hand corner, and then I'm going to reselect the top left hand corner to deselect it. And then I'm going to hold the control key and just shift or control key and just arrow up just a smidge there, just like that. Now I've got overlapping lines here that I can get my snipping tool and just get rid of, just like so. Now that that is complete, I'm going to close this icon here and I'm going to select the entire piece. And I will join. I'm going to edit objects and join all open vectors, and you'll see here that I have 4 open vectors. I'm going to join them all here, just like so. Then, because I'm that guy, I've got to select it and center just to make sure we're centered. Now you'll see it barely move. Now it's centered to your material. With that still highlighted, what I'm going to do now is go back to my offset, and I'm going to offset it 1/4 of an inch outward and right, just because that's what the measurements are on the replica, and I'm trying to match it as close as possible. Go ahead and click that offset button here, and there you have it. What I like to do that you don't necessarily have to do, but it'll keep me from having to select both when I create my toolpath, is I'm going to go ahead and select both, and I'm going to join, or not join, but group those selected vectors, and you should see it go to your solid pink line there. Now we can move on over to the toolpath section. I have it already set up the way I want it from doing previous ones. You know, I've got 18 of these to do of all various sizes, so I've been trying to knock all of these out tonight. That way I can get on it tomorrow or throughout the rest of the week. I'm going to go into V-carving mode, and I've got the 2 flutes V-bit 90 degree. It is the 1/2 inch diameter V-bit. I've got it set to 75 inches per minute, and the pass depth is at a 0.25. However, we will not be going that deep. I do not have a flat depth selected, so it's going to plunge as deep as the bit can fit to the width of these vectors here, if that makes any sense. If I was to use a 1/4 inch 4 flute V-bit 90 degree, it would plunge a bit deeper because it's only a 1/4 inch diameter. With it being a 1/2 inch diameter, it doesn't have to necessarily plunge as deep because the V-bit is much wider. If that makes any sense. I might actually do another video on V-bits and flat depths another time. But as you see, I don't need a clearance tool. I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm just going to go ahead and rename this cabinet, and this one is a 10 by 6, and that's how I'm going to name it. And what we'll do here is calculate that toolpath, and it should pop up here shortly, just like so. And you see these little lines here. Don't freak out when you see these little lines. That's actually what you want to see, because it's going to create, like, the center of the tip of that V-bit is going to run along this profile here. And once it does that, it's going to create these sharp edges, and it's going to make that face really pop. And that's what you want, and that's why I'm doing it this way. I'm going to preview visible toolpath, and just to verify that it's going to do what I want it to do. And as we watch this toolpath pretty much create itself, and we verify everything is the way it needs to be. I've got it running a little bit slow, but you can actually speed it up right here on this bar a notch, and you'll see it speed up just a hair. I'll actually reset the preview because I want you to see what those lines are. I'm going to run it slower. I'm going to select the toolpath I want to preview, I want you to watch what it's actually doing on these lines that you see. You see how these corners are kind of rounded here? Well, that's what them lines in the toolpath were showing you after it finishes its initial little profile here. It's going to go back and sharpen up these corners on the outer edge here. See how it got sharp? And that's what you want. I think that looks phenomenal. And I can turn my, or you can just hit the XYZ button option up here and it'll kind of show you from an angle what it's going to look like. But I love the way that looks and I'm going to stick with it. Click the Z option there to face it in the Z direction, if you will. But before I forget, because I like to probe and home to the material on the bottom left, I'm going to go back over here to the drawing, click my 2D view, and I'm going to go ahead and, before I save it, change the XY datum position to the bottom left hand corner there. You'll see that red square jump to the bottom here where I want it. I'm going to click OK, and then it's probably going to pop up a little message, all toolpaths need to be recalculated, and yes, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then your toolpath will jump back up to where it needs to be. Now, with that being said, I'm going to save as and do what I've been doing under my documents here. As you see, the ones I've been doing, cabinet, and this was a 10 by 6, and we're going to hit save. And that is how you create that simple little face pattern there on a cabinet. I'm pretty sure the customer will be happy with this, and there you have it. If you enjoyed the content that you have seen here, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel, as I will be doing plenty more of these. And if you have any suggestions to this video that would improve the process of this, I'm open to constructive criticism. You know, I've been doing this just fairly over a year, and I do my best to do my own design work, and you know, this is kind of where I'm at. So if you have an improvement process, I would not mind reading those. And that is it. Thank you all for tuning in.